What's up, everybody? Welcome to History for Foos. School is now in session.
Yo, what up, everybody?
Did we do one last week?
No, I think we missed last week.
Okay, we were ditching.
You were out to Australia.
Oh, that's right. I went to Australia.
How was Australia, dude?
It was good, man. I got to meet the dingo. We talked about that, didn't we, the last time?
Did we talk about it last one? Oh, okay.
So, hold on your shirt.
Look at this.
So, yes, man, Butch and I will be in British Columbia.
Yeah, actually will be.
Vancouver, yes. British Columbia, this is the border of where we're going,
right.
Which is Hope, Vancouver, British Columbia,
yes.
Washington.
Yes. Yeah, this is where the film supposedly took place, but it was supposed to be Hope, the United States. But it was filmed in Hope, British Columbia.
Did you ever see that movie, Rambo?
Yeah,
First Blood?
Did, bro. That was the fucking best movie I'd ever seen at the time when I was a kid. For like years, that was the best movie I'd ever seen.
My favorite scene, bro, when I was a kid, I liked it, but now when I watch it as a grown man, I laugh loud.
Right.
At the end where they're trying to get John Rambo to put down all his assault rifles and give himself up.
Right. Yeah, no,
and then he's yelling at the guy that pretty much raised him. The guy that
the general or whatever.
The general.
Yeah.
And he's putting Stallone giving his all, man. There's saliva coming out of his mouth. And he's yelling out names of his friends, soldiers that died.
That's right.
He's yelling out what happened to him and telling the general that him and his country don't care about them. But it's funny, man. He's like, oh no. You never care about nobody, man. When I need him, when America needed us, we were there, man.
He's like a homeless.
I didn't know that happened to Chewy Gomez. Chewy Gomez, man. No arms. Police being above and below. Sorry. But you know what, man? I laugh because it just looks funny to me knowing all the other movies I saw Sylvester Stallone in after that.
Right, yeah.
But when I saw the first time, bro, I still didn't know what he was saying. But he was on a roll.
Well, bro,
he had a lot of heart.
My dad fought in Vietnam.
And he laughed.
And my dad would talk about Vietnam all the time when I was a kid. So I just was just as boring as anything else. And then I watch fucking Rambo, and I think your perception of reality when you're a kid in the 80s is way different than you are as a kid even now in 2024 or in the 90s. And so I was like, oh, fuck, my dad was in Vietnam, dude. My dad could be like Rambo. There's no way my dad would be like Rambo.
Have you ever never seen First Blood? It's a movie that came out in 1986 probably, or 85.
When did Rambo come out?
And it's a movie about a Vietnam veteran, and he's out there in Hope, Portland, Hope.
It's Hope, Washington.
Hope, British Columbia, Washington.
But it's British Columbia, yeah.
And probably a fake town because they call it Hope. And he's just walking around, and a sheriff of the town looks at him and goes, "Hey, turn around and go back, get out of here."
Right.
Take a bath, whatever. Take a bath, bastard. And my brother Angel used to love that part because that's the way my dad was like that sheriff, like an asshole like that.
Right. Yeah, dude. That's the thing, dude. I remember cops when I was a kid. We drove into Morgan Hill, we're like I was with my friends from San Jose, and the cops told us get out of here like before it gets dark. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, that makes sense to me. And now it's like, oh man, that was like pretty rough, dude.
As a little kid, man, like you see Sylvester Stallone and Rambo
Right.
shooting all those bullets in the air, like what 100,
Yeah.
and he don't even move, bro. Right?
Right.
But as a kid, I always thought that those bullets just disappeared. Eh?
No,
It
they
wasn't
go
until I
somewhere.
saw that movie, The Mexican, with Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and James Gandolfini.
Yes.
And I guess the Mexicans in that town, they're celebrating I guess New Year's Eve. They're shooting a bunch of bullets, and what's his name? Brad Pitt had this guy that was showing him around like a guide in that little town. Then all of a sudden, he looks at him like this, and his head is bleeding.
Oh, that's right.
And one of the bullets that everybody was shooting fell in his head.
Fell in his head.
And I didn't think about it till then. That bullets fall on the ground.
Right. Yeah, they come. What comes up must come down.
Like the more you know.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking now when Sylvester Stallone, Rambo is shooting 100 rounds. He needs to get the fuck out of there, bro. Like he needs to take 5 feet,
Step 5 feet back.
5 steps.
Yeah.
Or run,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking about in my neighborhood, they would shoot bullets on New Year's Eve, and they're shooting them not in the sky, they're shooting them like directing at the other neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they're gonna fall over there.
Yeah, you could like.
And then they're shooting bullet at us.
You could hear them falling on your house. You know, like I had a cousin who got hit with like falling shotgun pellets, but he didn't like. He just it was like a little bit of scarring. Wasn't anything dramatic, but dude, yeah, that shit comes down. There's like stories every New Year of like kids getting hit with fucking bullets.
It's funny how that movie was supposed to show like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and to show that what a soldier goes through and all that.
Right.
But I saw none of that as a little kid.
Right.
I just wanted that knife.
This movie was about a homeless guy getting picked on.
Yeah.
Who was a bad motherfucker in Vietnam. And like that was like,
you think if Rambo was also black, it would have made the whole movie different? Or they would have sent an airplane to shoot a bomb in that forest.
It really made me think of Rambo, but in the
That's
same
Rambo.
way, in the same way as Robert
Think
Downey.
about it, bro. If Sylvester Stallone was actually, that movie was played by who's the action star at the time back then?
What if they just blackened him like they did with Robert Downey Jr. in Tropics? What if Sylvester Stallone just thought it was a good idea to like?
If they would have blackened him, it would have been different, bro. Because I think his neck would have been burning from shooting his M16 sideways. Because you know those cartridges gotta fall.
They gotta go
and
somewhere.
From what I've seen in a lot of movies,
those things
rappers, they like to shoot sideways.
Right. Yeah. Especially in the 80s. So yeah, I would have. Yeah, that.
You think they like shooting sideways because they're like, it's like old, like I don't know.
I think in the movies,
they want to throw a boomerang.
I think it was something that was started in the movies and then was adopted by the culture, like, or by like not, but like by the popular culture. So I think like, I think it was imitating the movies because in the movies it looks more dramatic when they're doing that, you know, as opposed to like bam, 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 you know, and then at some point people criticized them before it stopped happening. But I think it was like it started out in the movies because I don't think you could feasibly do it without seeing someone else do it.
The first time I saw a movie where somebody shot sideways was this badass movie, and you ain't gonna believe who did a good job in this movie. Gene Simmons.
What movie is this?
He's in this movie, bro. I don't even know the name of the movie, man. But I don't know who's in it, but he has a gun that shoots side like he was trying to kill this guy, and this guy, I think they might be called assassins. He's running, and this guy runs to the corner, and Gene Simmons shoots his bullet, and that bullet curves and shoots his ass.
Oh!
There it is. Look at him.
Get the fuck out of here. What's
right
the name
there.
of this movie?
Dude, it's a badass movie. Oh, in this movie, he throws a bag of, he got like a little box, and he throws them out in his house, and they're all little mechanical little tiny spiders, and they're recording the whole house.
What is the name of that movie? I know.
Runaway, yeah, bro, with Tom Selleck.
With Tom Selleck. That's where the bullets chase you.
Yeah, the bullets shoot sideways.
I remember being a kid and thinking like,
yeah, I saw it as a kid. I never saw it again.
I was like, this is the most futuristic movie ever.
Yes. And then remember Gene Simmons? Gene Simmons kills in that movie because he's basically like a Terminator. He has no lines.
Did you know that was Gene Simmons when you were a kid?
Hell yeah. Dog.
I didn't know that was Gene Simmons when I was a kid, bro.
Yeah. And he has the little spiders. A lot of the things that Gene Simmons in that movie Runaway with Tom Selleck has, Marvel and the Terminator movies have taken it. Like the little crawling spiders.
Yes. I was just thinking, well, bro, that's ahead of its time.
And then that movie was Angelina Jolie and Samuel Jackson.
Right.
And that British kid. They have a movie. Their guns shoot sideways too. No, they throw the gun like they toss the gun like that and they shoot, and that bullet curves.
Oh, that's called I think it's called Curve.
Curve.
What is it called?
Wanted.
Dude, that's right. I think about like I just finished watching probably for the 10th time in my life all the episodes of Rick and Morty, and there's so many instances of like where Rick throws down something and it's like turns into a bunch of like robotic spiders and they take off. Yeah, and those all come, bro, you're right. Those all come from that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I never thought about that. I forgot about that movie until you mentioned it right now.
Those little mechanical spiders, the bullet. See that one curves?
Yes.
But
this is the most retarded movie I've ever seen in my life.
If you want to know the history of computers and database,
yeah,
they that movie right there. There's they have a big old, I don't know what they call these Arabic things to make carpets. It's like a big old machine that makes
a loom.
A loom.
Yeah.
Well, the origins of a computer originates from the original loom, because a loom has a little magnet that flies around.
Okay.
And it stitches the machine while you're moving it. But you gotta make a little wooden design. You have to feed a code, and the code was a bunch of dots.
Yeah.
And a bunch of dots. And how you want the design?
That's how I would watch that. I've seen how they work a loom.
So how you want the loom to be done?
So it's a program.
So you put the program in there, and that was the basis of the later on.
Whoa, dude!
How a computer works.
Holy shit!
Because you have to, a computer works by fucking putting in the dot.
Wow, that's amazing. You're right.
So I learned that in that movie because Samuel Jackson explains it.
Whoa, dude!
So the loom. Dude, so I was talking to Elisa, and Lisa's brother-in-law, not brother-in-law, is Isaac's father, her ex-husband.
Okay.
His grandfather or dad worked on the basis of the internet when it first started.
Oh, wow.
It was just sharing files.
Yeah, they were called BBSs. And I remember we used to use them for like certain things. You know, when I was like a kid, you wanted to play a game like SimCity. We could get SimCity for free, and you could get it off of BBS, because this is way before like file sharing was called file sharing or torrent sharing or whatever the fuck, which is completely different. I do know that. But let's say I bought a video game, and since you didn't need a master to unlock it, or if you did, it was just a code inside of the manual. So you would load it up to a BBS, and then you'd load up the code, and then anybody who had that phone number could dial into that BBS. And that's pretty much the internet was just combining all the BBSs, I feel like.
Now there's a bunch of BBLs.
Right.
What's happening, everybody? History for Fools right here. Getting back to what we were talking about earlier about John J. Rambo, and we're talking about if it was like if you picture like the movie First Blood, and if you like close your eyes and go, you know what? Let's change John J. Rambo to John J. Washington, and now he's a black dude.
John J. Jackson.
John J. Jackson, Action Jackson, and
Jerome J. Jackson,
and he's a Vietnam vet. And he just stumbles upon this white town.
Right.
And then the cop. First of all, this is Rambo in the movie. The cop gave him a ride out of town.
Right.
And he bought him a hamburger, right? No, he just said get out of town.
Yeah, well, he took him to he said, I'm just crossing through town.
Okay, I'll
and
give
he's
you a
like,
ride.
well, I'm going to give you a ride to the other end, and,
so
and we can fast forward.
But if it would have been a black dude, he probably got an ass beating and then dumped out of town.
Bro, he wouldn't have made it through town.
He would get locked up.
He would have been fucking choked to death. He would have had like a boot on him, and then a bunch of guys like fucking yelling, stop resisting while they're fucking beating on him.
But just say he would have made it to jail, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would escape. I don't think they would have called a whole army. I think they would have just called somebody would have dropped a bomb in that airstrike on that fucking forest, bro. Like they did that one ex-police officer, bro, that nobody wants to talk about no more.
Bro, they burned.
What was his name?
Dolan?
Dolan. But anyway,
dude, what's that?
And when nobody had a photo, they were
Christopher
using
Dolan.
Christopher Dolan.
Dorner. Christopher Dorner.
Christopher Dorner.
Dorner.
There
yes.
But I remember when they didn't have a photo of him at first, they were using LL Cool J's
American
photo.
Hero right there. What?
They didn't have a photo of Christopher Dorner. they somebody took the sketch and got LL Cool J.
Bro, that's hilarious.
Well,
it does look like him. Go back to
Christopher Dorner, LL Cool J.
Dude, it does look like him. Holy shit.
Bro, they were using that photo at first, though.
We need to make a movie with fucking LL Cool J.
Oh, bro, that's a movie you never seen.
You know who else he looks like, though? Is the guy from... Look up the black dude from Starship Troopers. He looks like a fatter version of the black guy from Starship Troopers. Like, I swear to God, dude, tell me he doesn't. Right? Hold up there.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Right? Doesn't he? Maybe I'm wrong, dude. Maybe I have a bad eye for that shit, dude. But that's what I would
man,
cast.
Look up the new Menéndez Brothers movie with Javier Bardem and the woman from.
I think it's going to be a TV show, right?
The TV series. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
He's going to play Jose Menendez, and that woman is going to play Kitty Menendez. And I'm going to play the guy in San Diego who stole him a shotgun.
That would be a good role for you, dude.
Imagine, dog. How can they just give me that role?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not asking for no... Can you show it again, please?
Yeah.
I'm not looking for no big role in a movie. I want a role... Look at that.
Dude, I love this.
Look, here we go. Let's just keep it there for a while. Let's watch this movie.
Yeah,
watch
bro.
The clip.
I love this. I love this. After all I've learned...
those Jose Menendez right here look like somebody that beats and molests his two kids.
Yeah. Now? Yeah, bro.
Does that woman look like somebody that's going to snatch her son's toupee off in front of all his friends?
Yes. Yeah.
Are these kids... Are these guys? You think these two guys are gonna go buy Lamborghinis the day after they kill their parents?
Fuck yes, they are, bro. Fuck yes, they are, bro. This is
you know that when they bought those Lamborghinis, I heard that they had to buy one of those hemorrhoid seats, bro, because of the molestation.
Shut the fuck! Are you being serious?
Well, they were molested, bro.
Well, Eric was.
They were driving sideways.
So,
like this, bro.
Lyle was molested a little bit compared to Eric, who was a few weeks before, maybe a week, 2 weeks before the murders happened. Like, it was still happening. The murders happened because Lyle came home from school and the mom ripped the toupee off, like you just heard. Like, and the dad was like, bro, you need to wear a toupee in high school. He was like, you need to wear a toupee.
Yeah, because the dad was like, his dad, one of those very narcissistic dads, like
Right.
Willie Barcena, like, you gotta look good.
But yes, bro, no joke.
Hair dye and shit.
So, yeah. So,
if I'm gonna bomb, me and my mijo are gonna bomb together.
So the hair comes off. Eric, the little one, goes running because he's about to go to college. The older one's been away and was molested a little bit. I mean, still pretty bad, but compared. And he's like, wait. He's like, well, don't worry about your toupee. I got a secret to tell you too. And he's like, what? He's like, Dad's been doing it to me this whole time. And he tells him in detail how he was SA'd by him. And that's when he loses his mind. And he goes to his dad. He goes, you're not going to do this. Basically, first he goes to the mom. And then the mom's like, I noticed that this is happening. I don't give a shit. I hate you guys. You ruined my life. I had a good life with my husband until you all came along. Get out of my room. So he goes, well, I'm going to stop it myself. Goes to the dad. Dad's like, I don't give a shit.
I heard that in one of the movie scenes, the Jose Menendez grabs one of the kids by the throat and sits him down. He goes, and his son goes, what, Dad? What, Dad? He goes, what, friendo? This coin has traveled from Cuba to here.
Shit, that's hilarious, bro. Fuck. Yeah, this is going to be a good one, dude.
You know, it's funny, man, when the whole Menendez trial came out, because it was a big trial, man.
Right.
Dominic Dunn wrote a nice article about it on Vanity Fair. If you want to read more about it, we don't have time to look it up, but Vanity Fair, Dominic Dunn. Dominic Dunn also wrote a book about the OJ trial, because he was there at the OJ trial. He was inside the courtroom for the Menendez
Did you
trial.
know that Dominic Dunn was in favor of the prosecution all the way up until the boys gave their testimony? And then that's when he turned around and was like,
I can't believe it.
Because in the book that I'm reading,
what are you reading?
he's
you sent it to me.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. So it's called The Menendez Murders by Robert Rand. And he's close to Dominic Dunn. And after the boys give their testimony, which I'll tell you, the testimony to me was moving.
Look at this picture, bro. Don't tell me. Don't tell me which one had a toupee. I'm gonna tell you right now, by giving you a hint.
Okay.
Pan and Gemini right there.
You're actually wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're actually wrong. That's Eric.
Okay.
Wait, right? Is that Eric or is that Lyle? You know what? I gotta look it up now.
That's Robert Shapiro, man. He later on.
Yeah, that's Robert. That's right when they first started.
That's Robert Shapiro. Later on, he protected
Eric Menendez.
O.J. Simpson. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. That is Lyle on the left and Eric's on the right.
So that's a toupee, the one to the right?
That's a toupee on the left.
On the left? Okay.
Yeah, and that's someone rubbing it in on the right.
How about the one to the and that's Eric to the right?
That's Eric to the right.
Is he wearing a toupee too?
No.
Oh, that's good hair, bro.
He's got good hair.
Imagine, bro, his dad tells him.
Bro, that's Planet Gemini on the left. Oh, bro, I can't. It's good. All right, let's keep it going. But yeah, dude.
Paul Rodriguez had a funny bit about when the Menéndez Brothers thing happened.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. He goes, you know what? Ever since the Menéndez brothers killed their father,
Yeah.
my dad's been paranoid, eh? He stopped playing the lotto. He stopped playing the lottery.
Do you remember when this happened?
Yeah. I
Were you
remember,
aware of the case at all, or were you? Because to me, I was like, I thought they were serial murderers up until like.
I only knew about the Menendez brothers because of the stand-ups. And
Right.
I remember the jokes. And because Larry Omaha had a joke.
Everybody had a joke.
Larry Omaha had a joke about how he go, we didn't give a fuck about the Menendez brothers. There's something about those fools didn't realize they were Latino till they got arrested.
Bro, for real, dude.
They were about to. I didn't know. Like, it's funny. Like, because the gap between poor, middle class, and rich when you're Latino. Because when you're Latino, you're lucky if you're poor and you get to hang around with somebody that knows somebody rich.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Like, you're lucky. Like, you won't hang out with somebody rich, but you might hang out with somebody that knows somebody,
who's rich. Yeah. I had a friend who would house sit for rich people.
Because as far as you go as middle class,
Yeah.
is you probably work with them at a job.
Right.
And you're the janitor and they're your supervisor. And then there's the rich guy. But for Latinos, there's no way that. So we never know who's rich.
Right.
But, like, we never know the guy was a movie producer, Jose Menendez.
Yeah.
I've never seen this guy anywhere.
No.
I never heard of him.
No.
I heard of Ricardo Montalban.
Well, that's the thing, man, is that he did come out of nowhere. Like,
But he
was an account. He came.
Well, tell me about the story of
Jose Menendez. Okay, Jose Menendez's story is actually the American dream, and it's an amazing story. And I think this is why it captivated so many people, because he was like literally like rags to riches. His parents left Cuba, and he was sent here when he was 16. But his parents were like famous athletes. And so they were part of the more popular people in Cuba, the more rich people, the more affluent. So when the Cuban Revolution came,
So that was his grandfather, athlete.
His
track and field, swimming,
parents,
running.
his mom was a swimmer, and his dad was a soccer player. And
But all Cuban swimmers are.
Huh?
All Cubans are swimmers.
Well, I mean, at this point. So
but back then, they actually had Greg Louganis.
Yeah, so they had, and so they lost everything. He was sent ahead to live with some family at 16, and in college he got into Southern Illinois University on a scholarship for accounting, and he proved himself right away. He got with the company, and he reached out to the bosses and says, "I know why you're losing all this money." And this company went from losing almost over $1 million to gaining over $1 million the next year, $5 million the next year, and $60 million like years later after that. So then he was picked up by Hertz, and Hertz had a commercial division, and that's how he was able to move from Hertz and doing a lot of great stuff for Hertz to RCA. RCA was impressed with him. They kept him, and then he moved his way up to RCA, where he's the head of RCA. Dude, this is the best part of the story, to be honest with me, or at least to me. And I don't think we would have acknowledged this if it wasn't for and this is what's sad, bro. To me, this part. So the Menudo shit. Did you do any reading on the Menudo stuff?
Menudo, but Menudo's a Puerto Rican band.
Yeah.
That was like In Excess and Backstreet Boys.
It's like the Beatles of the 80s.
Not to be mistaken by the band I was in with Jay Valentino, Martin Rizzo, and Rodrigo, and Frank Quiñones called Pozole. But move on, bro. We were called Pozole, bro. We were like the wannabe Menudo. We used to do fucking backyards.
And nobody molested you guys.
Nah, bro. We only got robbed by our manager.
So you're aware of the Menudo, like, sexual assault stuff?
Súbete a mi moto.
So
Súbete a mi moto.
Can
No te vayas, René.
I don't know any Spanish, you know.
No, because they used to be because the way Menudo worked back in the day was once your voice starts cracking,
16.
you're gone, bro. And I remember there used to be this famous Menudo when I was a kid named Rene. When I first heard about Menudo, Rene Menudo, look it up.
Yeah.
And when he left, bro, man,
Rene
bitches
Roos,
were crying.
I think
They were crying, man. Little girls, people were sad that he was leaving the band, bro.
Right.
He was beloved, right? But later on, and then they even had a song called "No Te Vayas, Rene." Look, that's him, bro. Right there, bro. Is that Rene?
What was his last name?
Bro, when he left, when that kid left, people were crying, and then Ricky Martin joined, and then there was a kid with a curly hair.
Farait? Farait? I don't know how to...
I have no idea, bro. That's Rene, bro. Hell yeah, bro.
Okay, so...
Bulge.
So you're right. Like
That guy has something in his pocket.
the age range from Menudo was 12 to 16, and you had to leave the band if you were 16. And there was a guy...
In Pozole, we didn't have to leave the band till your mom said, "You ain't making no money, bro. Fuck all this dancing bullshit for this pervert." And Jay Valentino had to
Menudo
leave.
was run by music producer by Edgardo Diaz. And
I was Don Enrique.
so did you ever hear about any of this stuff? Okay.
It's all this is all, by the way, what Butch is talking about Menudo. This is all that resurfaced recently resurfaced. If you're like listening right now, this is not something that was on before the trial. This recently happened with Menudo.
There's a documentary that
and they're trying
came out, yeah.
The Menéndez Brothers are trying to get released on this, and also by the way, Pozole was not affected by none of this.
Pozzola had nothing to do with this. So Edgardo Diaz is the guy who is picking all these kids, and there's a movie called Menudo plus Menendez. And
By the way, man, our band Pozole had a movie too, but my dad recorded Chips over it.
it was the reunion episode.
I'm gonna lie, bro. As a kid, put Rene back on there. As a kid, watching these guys when these outfits, like, I thought it was cool, bro, because it felt like watching like a Puerto Rican Power Ranger.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I remember being a kid and like realizing at that moment.
All the chicks wanted them, bro. Like that kid right there, the black hair kid, and the other kid, man. Oh, man. I remember a bunch of girls in the neighborhood. They would always try to dress up and have like Menudo dance off.
Wow.
Yeah, I always didn't let us in.
Look at that hair, bro.
Yeah, bro. I had my hair like that kid when I was little.
So, did you really? So anyway, this band, like you said, rotates from 12 to at 16. You have to leave. It's run by a guy named Edgardo Diaz, and the particular person that we're talking about right now that's coming out, that first started to come out. Now there's a lot of Menudos coming out, but one of the first one was a guy named Roy Rosello, and Roy claims has made several claims about Edgardo Diaz. Like him being Edgardo Diaz's primary victim, but there's other victims.
But who victimized them?
Who victimized who? Roy Rosello?
Who touched these guys?
Oh, Edgardo Diaz.
Edgardo Diaz molested these guys?
Yes.
And he worked for who? Eric Menendez?
So this is what I'm getting to.
Menendez.
So this guy, Roy Rosello, is one of the main characters in Edgardo Diaz's victimizing the Menudo boys. Yeah. The connection is this guy because he's kind of Edgardo Diaz's boyfriend. And according to the band members, like he was kind of pushed into the band. They didn't even really like him because they didn't realize in their own minds that he's doing this with a little boy because he's 13 when it's happening. But they're like, oh,
they didn't say nothing.
He's just inserting his boyfriend. Well, they couldn't.
And this is Puerto Rico, right?
Bro, there's a show. Remember Extina?
Yeah.
And then you remember there's another show.
Christina.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's how I always
But this happened in Puerto Rico, right?
This happened in Puerto Rico.
This was trip out on this, bro. This conspiracy I have in my head right now.
Sure.
Epstein Island is next to Puerto Rico, bro. And a lot of the employees that were working at Epstein Island were from Puerto Rico.
Right.
So Puerto Rico didn't say shit, eh?
No.
They knew about this island
Well,
the whole
there's
time.
bro. So check this out. So these accusations, and it's almost thank God for the Menéndez Brothers things because it's bringing the Menudo thing to America's light because this has been a thing happening in Puerto Rico since '91. The guy who made all the merchandise, he's a former journalist who got picked up by Menudo and asked to do the merchandising, started to realize that the boys were getting molested by him. So he interviews them and they're saying, please don't say anything, but yes, we're being molested.
Our band, the side group I was in, Pozole, we were never like molested. I don't know. I was never touched, bro, but our manager did give us a lot of shoulder rubs. Like, mijo, don't get he'll pump us up.
Right. We knew his boundaries.
He'll crack our toes. That's it.
Edgardo Diaz did not know his boundaries, and so they go on this show. It's not Christina, but it's the lady. It's a lady before, and I'm not finding her name right now, but they go on her show, and this is how much the Puerto Rican government supports this. Okay, they send cops while he's on the show. This is the merchandise guy. Because he's like, I believe this is happening. I can't say the names of the boys that have told me this, but I could say that I know it's happening, and I'm trying to bring this to light. Also, one of the boys' dads is speaking as well. This is in 91, bro. This is happening in 91, and he's like, I know this is happening, and then the cops come to try to stop him from doing it, but because the lawyers get involved, they give him...
The Menendez brothers killed their parents in 89.
Yes. Okay? Yes. But what I'm saying is the Menudo thing has been happening since 91. Okay, so here's the connection. This guy, Roy Rosello, is the main boyfriend of Edgardo Diaz. Edgardo Diaz wants to get signed by RCA. So he tells the little boy, hey, I'm going to take you over to this man's house, and you're going to have to do what you do with them with me. And you need...
How old was he?
He was 13 years old.
Shut the fuck up.
And he goes, you need to do what this man tells you to do. And because we can make millions of dollars. So everything's riding on you. So he takes him over to the Menendez house. Roy says he remembers meeting the boys and that they were all fucked up and weird. And then Jose Menendez gives him wine and says, drink this wine. It's very expensive wine. And you have to drink it all because it's expensive. So Roy drinks the wine. He says he doesn't remember anything. He just remembers being carried upstairs by both of them and then waking up in a hotel.
Both the who?
Jose and Edgardo Diaz. And he says the next day he wakes up and he's taking a shower and blood comes out of his bottom and all kinds of other stuff. And he looks over at Edgardo Diaz and Edgardo Diaz says, it'll heal. You'll be fine. And then that's at the time that RCA Records signs Menudo. So that's the connection, and that just barely has come out, like, maybe in the last year. And
Menudo was around before 91.
Menudo was around since 77,
yeah.
And it didn't stop until 2004.
So how does this tie in with the Menendez? So this is going to come out, and the brother, the Menendez brothers know about this?
Well, the Menendez brothers know about this, and it's not being used. So what's being used in the new evidence is to bring the case back to light. So the Menendez brothers used up all their appeals. And what's going to bring the case back to light is actually a letter that they found that was written to the cousin who testified, where he's like, yeah, he talked to me about, like, asked me if my dad did this to me, and he told him that his dad touches his dick. That cousin, he had passed, and then the mom had passed. And then when they'd gone through all her records, I think it was the mom or he had passed. Somebody passed. They had gone through all her records and found an old letter written by Eric where he's like, my dad's still doing this to me.
You see here. A Menudo boy banders disturbing link to the Menendez brothers. New docuseries Menendez plus Menudo. Boys betrayed features ex-Menudo members Roy Rosello, who claims he was by Menendez brothers' father.
Yeah, man. This fucking documentary fucked with me. This whole thing fucked with me, bro. Like, I really do feel bad for the Menendez brothers, dude. Like,
so you went deep, huh?
I went deep. Hey, bro, I drove to the house because it's seven minutes from my work. So I was all, you know what? I'm listening to this I'm listening to this story. I'm reading all this.
So you were looking for Jose Menendez.
So I thought it would be a good idea to just go swing by the house. This is when I learned LA is all these different monsters working, man. Because as soon as I drive into, I was like, what's the big deal? I'm driving 7 minutes from my job at the Hollywood Improv. And it was at night. So, I don't know what I was thinking, but as soon as I got into Beverly Hills, I have a 2002 Honda Accord that looks like it was stolen. And it has paper plates because I can't find the original plates on it.
I thought you were going to abandon the car and walk away, huh?
I was like, what am I doing here, bro? I'm going to get fucking pulled over. But I drove by the house, and I just drove by, looked at it, drove back around, took off. I didn't want to take any pictures because it was creepy. They have cameras on every fucking stop sign in Beverly Hills.
I did the same thing, bro, during the OJ trial.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to figure out if OJ Simpson had enough time to leave his house and go to the murder scene and then come back.
Right.
And then I did the same drive he did. And I timed it.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
That's the thing is, I did.
And they were talking about traffic. There's no. You've been over there. There's no traffic over there.
No, plenty, bro. It's dead. It's dead over there. That's what's the thing is like
Buckingham Palace.
It's
Buckingham.
weird, bro. There's something that weirds me out about Los Angeles because I live in South Central, and it's like,
bro, you don't live in LA no more, bro.
It's a zoo consistently, and then you go to like Beverly Hills, and it's quiet, bro. It's quieter than this studio.
People, I know, like LA and Beverly Hills is totally different places because you got one side that's Beverly Drive. No, it's Rodeo Drive.
Right.
But then you go to the side where he lives, and it's just they pronounce it Rodeo.
Rodeo. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, that's the same name, but it's said different, like, yeah, man, this whole thing has really, it's one of the most interesting things that we've done. I was actually happy when you talked to me about it. And, when I looked it up, I was really fascinated. When I was a kid, bro, I watched this happen on TV, and I would just see the two brothers, and then I would see like them being made fun of on SNL, and I would
also a Cable Guy, bro.
Cable
Guy. That one
with
Adam Sandler.
Oh my God! And so I just honestly, bro, I thought they were serial murders up until maybe like a decade ago, when it was mentioned. But even then, I don't know why I didn't find it that interesting.
Bro, when I was a kid, I thought it was Menendez with an L.
And again, I walked into this trying to believe the prosecution side, but I don't know, man. The evidence is so overwhelming.
They painted them as two spoiled kids who killed their parents.
And they were two spoiled kids who killed their parents, but
they had a lot of money. They had whatever they want.
Here's the thing,
tennis
man.
lessons.
If you have millions
all
of dollars,
all I had was art lessons.
Right. If you have millions of dollars and you're an abused kid and you're treated like shit, they were also like notorious for treating their mom like shit. And when people would approach the dad and be like, why do you let these guys treat their mom? And he's like, they're learning how to be men. They're learning how to be dominant men. And so
what kind of stuff would they do to their mom?
They would like just treat her like shit. They would yell at her. But also, bro, to be fair, and here's the thing, because I'm not trying to paint them in a bad light. Like, the mom was horrible. She hated them because she thought that they ruined her marriage because the husband was in love with her up until
she wanted to be one of those ladies that goes to all these Hollywood parties, huh?
Right. And she hated that she had to deal with them. And she blamed them because she would say her marriage...
They would get in trouble too, huh?
Her marriage was good until they came along. And she would openly say that. There's witnesses in the first trial that were like, we would hear her say that all the time. And so she was a bad mom. Bro, like... These guys were fucking abused. And here's the thing, man, is like, yeah, they weren't good people because that doesn't mean that what they did wasn't justified. It just means they were douchebags. Fucking Lyle admits, even now to this day, I think he alludes to that he was a douchebag. They were fucking told, like, if that you're elite kids, you're the best kids, and they still showed remorse after they did it. They showed genuine remorse, like, we miss our dad because he was the one that made us feel good about ourselves. Despite what he did, he still made us feel good about ourselves. And I don't think they're douchebags anymore, but I think that's what you have to be. I think you have to learn to be an animal because your dad wants you to be like an animal. And, and when he's doing all that stuff to you, yeah, you're not going to be a good person. But at the end, dude, when you read about what happened and how they did it, I believe. I honestly, at first, I was like, I kind of believe them. Then it was like, okay, I mostly believe them, but here's a few things. Nah, man, I've looked at all kinds of different stuff. I had a lot of time to go through everything. I fucking 100% believe these guys. And to be fucking honest with you, bro, like when they went to their mom and he goes, Mom, Dad's still fucking doing this to Eric. And the mom goes, I know, and I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of here. I hate both of you guys.
Also, your toupee is a little crooked.
Also, you pay your toupee. That's the thing. So that story is...
I saw
I don't think we really shared that story.
I saw the Menendez movie, the first one.
Okay, is that in the movie where she rips off his toupee?
And then she said that she would slap him, bro, all the time. And when I went to Reddit, because I want to know more about the toupee.
Right.
He said that the kid started losing his hair more because Jose would pull his hair.
He'd pull his
hair. Pay
hair.
attention, motherfucker.
Right. Or oh, no, because that was Lyle, and he didn't make Lyle do that stuff.
So they would, his dad would.
Or a little bit he did, but.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
there were objects to the dad, not.
Well, no, the first one was like Lyle was his prized possession because Lyle was his firstborn, and he would openly say, Lyle's my favorite, he's my firstborn, he's going to be just like me. Eric's kind of like backup, and is treated like backup. So Lyle's like mildly essayed or graped, and when Lyle becomes a teenager, he confronts his dad.
That's how my dad would introduce my brothers and I. My dad would introduce me by name, and then my brother would be introduced by his name and all his skills.
My older sister.
My brother would be, this Felipe, this is my brother, but this one right here is Angel. He could really read and write, and
right. My mom would brag about my cousins.
He could tie his shoes,
or like kids. My mom ran a youth center when we were younger, and we started doing better. My mom had ran a youth center, and she would constantly talk about what she helped the kids do. Never about me. Never like, this is kind of how I understand because like I'm a victim of parental abuse myself.
I felt like killing my parents too, bro.
Did you?
Time, like I remember being a kid and I was like sitting in front of the television.
Uh-huh.
And I want to, like in front of the television, when I want to show my dad this funny part. No, wait. My dad said change the channel to like the channel
bro.
Change it to the Spanish station, right?
Uh-huh.
So my dad would say, no, mira, this is real funny right there, right? And I turned my back, and my dad would throw like a shoe at me.
Yes.
Move, you fat piece of shit.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then I would get back at him like this, bro, because we have one of those knob televisions.
Right.
So in order to go to his channel, I just have to go to the left, one click.
Right.
Right, UHF, channel 34.
Yes.
But I would be like, but instead I would go the long way, and I would make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Bro, I would do that all the time.
Would you get pissed?
That I stripped that motherfucker, bro.
Oh, no.
I stripped it, and my dad had to put tape, bro, now. Because they didn't want to go to no other channel.
He might have to be, bro. My mom was like...
So they beat my ass, bro. I became the remote control.
My mom was explosive like that, bro. Like
I was just standing there like this, bro, like a butler, like this. Channel 5, okay, Channel 5, eh. And I would go with a...
My mom would like napping, and if you made the slightest noise in the house, she would explode. She would wake up, and I remember one time she beat the fuck out of me so bad, and then she wouldn't let me leave her room. She beat the fuck out of me like 4 or 5 times before she let me leave the room, and I remember having feelings that were similar to what the Menéndez brothers
Your butt hurt?
were going through. I did not have a parent rape me like that. Or grape. Shit, dude. You gotta take that shit out. I did not have a parent essay me the way that happened. The thing was I did have methodical violence in my life. My mom beat the fuck out of me every day. But
that bell is in a Smithsonian somewhere.
To me, at that level, I wanted to do what they were doing. I mean, to me, it was a fantasy, and I can't imagine, because they were pushed so much further. But they did it. But I'll be honest with you, man. I I think what I got is that they were relieved to go to prison for that shit, and that that their parents deserved what they got. That shit was, bro. This story fucking was crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. There was times I got real sad.
Sometimes, man, like,
why are you laughing?
Because I remember watching evil movies.
Yeah.
Where somebody had powers
Uh-huh.
and they would move stuff with their eyes, and I remember trying to do that with my parents, but it didn't work.
My mom.
I would be like this, like my mom would hit me with something, but then I'll go like that, and then she didn't fly over. And I was like, oh man, I wish I had these powers, man.
My mom had type 2 diabetes, and I plotted a couple times. I was like, I'm going to pour sugar in her.
I remember praying, bro.
That would have worked.
I remember praying, like, please, God, kill her.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yes.
Worked.
Yeah, dude. Well, years later, that's what fucked me up is when I found my mom dead. Like, the weirdest fucking feeling in the world.
Oh, was she dead? Like,
was the sense of relief.
Floor?
59. She was laying in her bed. She passed in her sleep. It was my birthday.
How old was she?
She was 59.
Damn young.
Yeah.
She was younger. How old is your dad when she was 59?
He was like 63.
Oh damn. How were you?
This is 13 years ago.
Okay.
So I was a full-on adult. Bobby was turning 2, and my mom wanted me to go pick him up. I was staying the night at their house. I had just got my divorce, and it was my birthday, and my mom was like, in the morning, you go pick up Bobby. I'll make you guys tortillas. My mom never offered to make us food. And my uncle was like, hey, you should go check on your mom, because I haven't heard her go to the bathroom. I haven't heard her get up, nothing. My mom liked to sleep in. I remember looking in the room thinking like, breathe, please breathe. Because I'm watching her. And I was afraid to wake her up, bro. I was so afraid of my fucking mom that at that time in my early 30s, I was afraid to wake my mom up. No, I think it was in my late 20s.
They're going to whisper, where the tortillas?
Yeah, I was like, and I went to go touch her hand to go, hey mom, because I knew she liked it when I squeezed her hand. And it was cold.
And it was cold?
Her hand. And I remember my immediate feeling was relief. And I remember after that, I remember thinking that almost immediately, I'm going to pay for this. And it did. The guilt fucked me up for a long time to go through therapy. So to me, bro, what those boys went through is 100 million times worse than what I went through. And so it's like, dude, when you listen to Lyle, I don't hear Eric talking. I haven't heard much of Eric speak. I don't think I've heard anything from Eric when I was doing this research. But Lyle is kind of like, I look forward to getting out if I can, but I'm where I'm supposed to be because I'm helping people who've gone through what I've been through. And then we were immediately taken out of our bad situation and put in jail and prison, which was way easier to deal with than our dad. And so they both kind of were like, we don't want to be in prison, but we're not getting SA'd anymore by our dad. We're not being ruled by him.
How many times they shot? Because they on one of the
they shot the dad 9 times and the mom 6 times.
Yeah, one of the articles I read was that they tried to say that it was a mafia hit,
right?
And then they were like saying stuff like, well, an assassin wouldn't shoot a person 9 times.
Well, the LAPD went.
Shoot the other person, and then shoot the other person 9 times.
Right, Beverly Hills PD,
and then eat a bowl of cereal.
Went over and met with some mafiosos in New York, and they were like, "We wouldn't have done that, and we wouldn't have killed his wife. Like it would have been clean, and his wife would have lived." So they knew. They had a hunch. It all
depends who's doing the hit.
I think the cops knew.
If it was Jodie Comer and Killing Eve, she would have killed them both.
Like that. I think, according to the boys, the reason why they stormed in doing that is because they thought the parents were in the room loading up guns. Because they thought the dad was like, "Hey."
So this will be the battle at the fucking
OK Corral.
OK Corral.
So because the dad
at the OK Corral.
So Lyle comes home from college and he's finding out what his brother did.
The dad didn't want that fool to be with his girl either, right? His girlfriend he had.
Right. Yeah. The dad was getting jealous.
He wanted. The dad was one of those dads that wanted to dictate their whole life, huh? Because
their whole lives. I mean,
like education, money,
neighbors,
cars,
testified
clothes.
the dad in that
School,
way.
friends.
Yes. Yes.
Like, you can't be hanging around with poor motherfuckers.
Bro, he kicked his best friend out of his house in New York. The ID they used to buy
Why?
the shotgun,
Because they lived in a cul-de-sac?
because the dad found out that he didn't go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton. Sorry. The dad found out that he didn't really go to Princeton. So he goes, your roommate has to fucking leave. He needs to leave fucking now.
Yeah, but also my sister, she had to stop dating this guy because he was wearing a 49er jacket.
Once you go red and gold, you never go back. So yeah, so Lyle goes, look, we're not going to do anything to you, Dad, but I'm taking Eric and I'm leaving and he's going with me. And this is ending. You're no more graping my brother anymore. And the dad goes, he's all, but we won't say anything. And the dad goes, no, I know you're going to say nothing. And this is the end of this talk right now. And he leaves. And that's what gave Lyle the impression that they were in danger. And the next night they went out shark fishing. The times got pushed back. So then they got really paranoid. And then the next day is the day the murder happened. He's like, they're trying to stay away because they know the dad is, if they're together, that's the best chance for them to be murdered. So they tell the dad they're taking off. And the dad's like, no, you're not. You're staying here. And he locks them in their room and he says, you're staying here till I come back and talk to you. And then he goes in his room and does something what they say they've never done before, and they lock the doors. Now, the mom bought guns a few months or a year before. So they're thinking the parents are loading guns in the room. So that's when they come bursting in the room, according to them. And right away they go to business. Lyle starts blasting away at the dad. The dad's like, no! And he says that he hit his dad in the head by accident with buckshot. They shoot the mom up a little bit, but she's still surviving and crawling through the middle of the room. And then they go back, load up again, and come back and blast the mom. The cops said when they got there that there was pieces of meat dripping off the walls from how much damage that they had done. And it was like, bro, like...
Where were they after this whole thing happened?
They took off. And they went to go set up their alibi. They were supposed to go see Lethal Weapon, but it was sold out. And so they got tickets for Batman. And because they didn't want to see Batman because they'd already seen it before.
I can just imagine them watching Lethal Weapon, man. laughing at Danny Glover going, I'm too old for this, Riggs. And then going, that's Dad. or when he's stuck in a toilet, we should have blew up Dad in a toilet, eh?
Well, they were hoping for, because they were supposed to go meet up with a friend during the Taste of LA, which is a festival that still happens.
Those fools went to the movies after killing their parents.
Yeah.
Hey, they had a to-do list.
Well, what they were hoping was that the neighbors heard the gunshots. And that the neighbors would call the cops, and the cops would roll up and find everything.
There was no cameras nowhere else.
No. Cameras? This is in a time that we didn't do that much, and so they figure out that no one's called the cops yet. So Lyle decides to call the cops himself. So they pull up, acting like they just found the scene, And the cops were like, you know what? I was so thrown off by how fucked up they were over it, that I didn't even realize that there's smoke still in the air by the time they got there, which is almost impossible. And by the time the cops pull up, there's meat still falling off the walls, meaning that this had just happened. And they were the only ones in the room. And
so they showed up.
The cop forgot to do the hand test to see if gunpowder, residue powder test. And that's kind of what first blew the case.
Those fools went to Batman to see the whole movie, or they left early?
They didn't even go in. They just went to buy the tickets to say that they went and hoped that there wasn't a timestamp on the ticket. But there was a timestamp on the ticket, so they threw it away anyway. And they tried to come up with a different alibi. The thing that was smart of them was that
stupid.
They picked up all the ammunition. That's the only thing that they did right, because
they said also a hitman would never do that. But you watch a movie with a hitman, they always do that.
They always do that. But the hitman wouldn't have made it so sloppy. The hitman would have came in, killed really quickly, and then left. It would have been such a bloody mess. I think the the intended meaning of that. But I don't know, man. Like they come in and they call the cops, and honestly, they would have gotten away with it, bro. Even though the cops had him kind of suspected right off the bat, all the spending and everything. They had no real physical evidence to prove anything because there was fingerprints all over the house. Yeah, but it's their house.
Their house.
So there's not much that the cops have physically to connect them. But Eric's the one taking it the hardest, and he goes to his former therapist. He's feeling really bad.
Yeah.
And he has a therapist because he was burgling houses when they lived in Calabasas. And that's why they left Calabasas to Beverly Hills. He was just kind of, in the sense of joyriding, stealing a car. He was breaking into houses and stealing stuff and fencing it for like small cash. And the parents were gone the whole time in Orlando.
It was him and Joey Diaz, cocksucker.
So
it was 1989, man.
So they sent him to a therapist. They moved to Beverly Hills to get away from it. The therapist is the only person he could trust, so he goes to the therapist and tells him. The therapist calls Lyle and says, "You need to get over here." Because Eric just told me everything. Lyle shows up, starts threatening the therapist. Therapist says, let's just talk about this later. Therapist sets up another appointment with them, then records it with his girlfriend in another room. Okay? So this is where the holes fall through. So the girlfriend gets upset later on down the line, like a few months later, or a few days later, and is like, my boyfriend's trying to go back to his family. Fuck that. If you go back to your family, kind of is what she does, but it's a little different. But she goes, I'm going to take these tapes and give them to the LAPD. And then that's what out of jealousy, she gives the tapes to the LAPD. And so now the cops know who did it. Now, the qualification, and because every time we do this, I go over this with Rebecca, my girlfriend, to just see if she'll poke holes through my stuff. And she was like, that's a violation, because she knows law stuff pretty well. She's like, that's actually, you can't do that. You can't. How was that admissible? How it was admissible, just so everybody knows, is when they go to raid something like a therapist's office, they bring a special master, what's called a special master. The special master collects the confidential evidence, and then he goes through it himself to see if it's worthy or not to be submitted to court. And in two of those recordings, because two were submitted, they used the fact that Lyle would threaten and it was mildly, you can't even really take them as threats. That Lyle used those threats. And so they said, well, the therapist was feeling threatened, so he was able to tell the police then. And so that's how they were able to use that. And then that's what got him caught. They actually would have got away with everything had fucking Lyle didn't fucking threaten the fucking therapist, or the therapist's girlfriend didn't say shit. They would have been out spending all that money, probably bankrupt by now, owning a pizza fucking parlor or something, dude. But yeah, like that's what happened, you know. And really, what's most sensational about this is actually how the court case went down, because it was the first recorded televised court.
You know that his their cell right next to OJ's.
Yes. And they also had dinner with OJ when they were kids.
Yeah.
Because the dad worked for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you know that he was giving OJ tips on how to be in jail as a celebrity?
Yeah.
He was like, here's what you need to do, bro. And like him and OJ had extensive conversations on how to fight their cases and all kinds of shit, dude.
They were already the Menéndez Brothers were institutionalized immediately, and they started reading books.
Well, yeah,
and they had fan mail, huh?
They were getting naked pictures from women
from everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
People would send them letters like, "I always wanted to kill my mom too, Eric. Here's my pussy."
That's hilarious, dude. They did do that.
They do that. Look, bro.
That. Look at that.
We got this. They said, OJ said, we got this.
I'll see you guys out on the golf course.
Also, oh man, dude, that I know not to change the subject, but switch it over to OJ Simpson trial, but OJ Simpson's book is probably the most craziest book I ever listened to on audiobook.
Really?
It's called If I Did It.
If I did it. Oh, that's right. How would it have gone down if he did do it?
Dude, everything, bro. He talks about Nicole Simpson. He paints her like this big old drug addict who didn't take care of her kids.
Wow.
And she was hanging around with these druggies, and I never associated myself with anybody of that ilk who did drugs.
Wow.
Right. Anyways, so okay, so man, I said, man, can we just fast forward into the murder scene? So once they get to the place where he's gonna actually do the murder, O.J. Simpson in the book makes up this person that's there with him. So Keith and I are there confronting Nicole and this person who I never met. Everything goes black. And I tell Keith, don't do it, brother. And Nick and Keith go to...
Oh, so he puts it on someone else. OJ's a real piece of shit, dude. OJ's a real... How did we let him go? Well, you know this...
Oh, and also,
so
when he will beat up Nicole, the LAPD will show up.
Right.
And see her all beat up, get an autograph, and leave.
Okay, and this is the thing. So this Menendez case goes back, speaks to how corrupt Los Angeles...
Don't you dare.
Los Angeles Police Department and how Los Angeles law itself...
It's an old, good old boy
was
shit,
a very, very corrupt system. Because here's what happens next. The boys were tried separately. Both juries go hung. They can't come.
Oh, name.
It's 3 weeks. They deliberate for 3 weeks, which is the longest a jury has deliberated in the state of California. The case is called a mistrial. It's not. They weren't found not guilty. So what happens is right away, prosecution says we're going to re-prosecute with the same judge, same people, same everything, different prosecutors. But between that case ending was the OJ case, and they had taken a big loss on the OJ case. So at this point, the courts and the prosecutors not willing to take any more chances.
And also in the second trial, the Menéndez brothers are not allowed to wear their suits anymore. They're wearing They're wearing
Right.
they're blue shit. So now they're painted as actual criminals.
Right, and the evidence that they were using
and for the toupee, you have to wear a hat.
I don't know about that. I would like to actually see that now. But the evidence that they were using in the previous trial, which caused the mistrial, which was that they were being essayed by their dad, was inadmissible. The recollections of family members and neighbors who showed how abusive he was, also were just.
I heard he would just smack them in front of everybody. He didn't care.
Bro, there's one situation with Peter Cano, who's one of their family members, like an in-law.
No relation to Mike Cano.
He testifies that the boy's running around. I think it's Lyle is running around crazy, and Jose grabs him, and then leans into him and says something, and he immediately pisses himself. And then when he pissed himself, the dad punches him in the face.
Well, my dad, I never pissed on myself. My dad would grab me like that because he already had beat me up for pissing on myself.
Right, yeah. But your dad doesn't lean in and say, hey.
So just bleed internally.
I'm going to grape you later for all that you're doing right now. Yeah, dude. But none of that was admissible in the second case. And so they were found guilty. And, they didn't get the death penalty, but the prosecution was aiming for the death penalty. It just shows to me how corrupt Los Angeles court attorneys were and all that stuff and how bad things were. And also the OJ getting off too shows how corrupt it was.
He was innocent, bro.
And then also they had Rodney King happening. You guys remember there's a Northridge earthquake, fires, OJ Simpson. This is all happening.
Serial killers.
LA was at that time.
Also 1985 was Richard Ramirez. His trial was going on.
Yeah. So you're right. So this is all happening in LA, man, at the time, and I'm really glad we got to do this one because it was super exciting for me. Like, I really read the fuck out.
History for Fools, man. This week, how long we been playing? Huh? Oh I thought it was longer than that.
I
It was 2
know,
hours.
bro. What the heck happened?
All right.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. So, do you remember this again? Do you remember as kids? Do you remember the details of these, or not at all?
I just
Because
know
you're a
that.
little older than me.
I just know that for the first time on television, we had Latinos on TV. Like,
and they were being imitated.
like they were
by
always on television, man.
Right.
Like they were the people always say, "No, man, who was the first sitcom?" The Menéndez Brothers, bro.
Right.
They were on Court TV every day.
Dude.
They were the most watched.
See, we didn't have Court TV for it back then. Court TV was like kind of just out here and in certain test areas. I think.
Court TV was part of.
We didn't get Court TV till OJ came around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was like because
What was the lawyer's name that was defending the Menéndez Brothers the second time? The woman, Linda.
Leslie Abramson.
She was hired from the. Was she hired by the brothers or hired by the district?
She was hired by the brothers. The brothers originally had hired George Shapiro, who was famous for the OJ case, and had But the thing with her was that she was the most famous and had 100% rating on people who were on trial for capital punishment.
She protected Hertz, that woman that robbed did she protect that woman in the 60s or 70s that robbed those banks with those people?
Oh, you're talking about Patty Hearst.
Yeah.
No, I think Leslie Abramson was probably Patty Hearst's age at the time that Patty Hearst shit was happening.
That's about the same age, okay.
Yeah, so they were probably the same age.
She protected somebody too later on. She was she protected this guy. She protected the guy. I think she protected this guy that was accused of molestation in a big trial, and he ended up being found not guilty because the grandparents were trying to take the kid away from the parents. It was called the McMartin preschool case.
Oh, really?
Is it McMartin preschool case? You look it up.
I'm looking up what I got right now. Let's see.
I didn't know nothing about that Menudo case.
Named Ricky Sanders.
Yeah.
I have something to share about the judge too later on.
What judge, bro?
So the judge that was in this case,
Judge Ito?
no. Now you're gonna make me look it up. Who's the judge in the Menendez trial?
Judge Sklar Brothers.
Weisberg. Judge Weisberg, who's the same judge in the OJ case. So this judge, I was looking at some of the history on this judge. When he was a prosecutor, he tried a case for a murder that was kind of in the same vein as the Menendez case, but he lost it to manslaughter. And
so he had a chip on his shoulder.
So I think he had a chip on his shoulder as well for this case.
And he didn't like rich people, probably.
Right. Or maybe he loved rich people because, this was in the favor of the dad.
Look at her hair, though.
Yeah, that's Leslie Abramson right there on the right, or someone playing her. So, yeah, man, and I think the Menudo case is going to also add into this as well. I think that the Menudo case is going to be a big deal because at first you just had Roy Rosella that came out of
the Menudo case?
Yeah.
The movie?
Well, the thing is man, I really encourage people to go watch that because the Menudo case was fucking sad, bro. That's another really fucked up story.
So is the Pozole documentary, bro.
We'll get to the Pozole's documentary on the next
documentary.
Episode.
Go ahead.
I found this documentary Menudo
it's fucked up, huh?
plus Menendez to be, and I really don't think if it goes into mainstream, it is because of the Menendez brothers, and it's sad because this man, Edgardo Diaz, bro, is one of the evilest people I've ever read about. Like, he did so many bad things to so many children, and
he's Catholic, huh?
And he got away with it, and he used Puerto Rico. Because you remember we were talking about how corrupt Puerto Rico is? Or
yeah, man, they're right next to the Epstein Island. They didn't say nothing.
Right, and they didn't say anything. Well, they tried to shut down. You know, I go back to the merchandiser, and this guy's name is
Levi's.
If you give me a chance, real quick, Levi's. That's very funny.
Curacao.
Bolivar Arellano, and he's the guy that is the merchandiser for Menudo, and he starts to realize something's happening, so he pulls all these kids aside, and he says, "Hey, is this happening?" And they're like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I can't use this. I can't make money off this anymore. My money's dirty." So he comes out and he goes on Carmen Jove, which is a talk show in Puerto Rico. And as he's talking about it, the police raid the talk show and try to arrest him. But his lawyers stop the arrest, and they say, "Well, we're summoning him." So he goes to meet the summons the next day at the police station, and then Edgardo Diaz people don't show up. They're hiding in a room nearby. So when he leaves after a while, because the summons isn't going to happen, Edgardo Diaz people show up, press charges for him not showing up for the summons, and then when he shows up on Carmen Jove again, he is arrested by the Puerto Rican police, and then he's silenced. And there's a dad for this other kid that's his name's Ray Reyes. The dad comes out, and his name's Raul, or his brother's Raul Reyes. So the dad comes out on the same show that this is happening on. And they're like, "You wanted to speak. What about your son? He's sitting here in the audience." He's all, "My son's not allowed to because they'll take away." They already called him and told him they'll take away his money if he speaks. So I'm speaking for him. This was a show in '91. Then they show up on Christina again, ex-Christina, whatever. And years later with another dude named Ash Ruiz. And he's accusing Edgardo Diaz to his face.
He's also a Menudo guy?
He's a Menudo guy. I believe there's 13 Menudo guys now that have come out and said that this is happening. And I think there's another 5 or 6 that are talking about coming out. Overall, there's 50 plus Menudo members.
That's crazy because in that band we were in Pozole, all they did was take out our deposit and we never got our suits.
So that's the bad part that happened to you. That's the juiciness of it. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that all that happened to Pozole, bro. I really sympathize for Pozole. We should make a documentary on this.
What's up, everybody? History for Foos.
Pozole.
This week I'm gonna be in. My dates are: I'm gonna be in British Columbia on Thursday, this Thursday, here and I, and then the next day we're flying out to Alberta, Canada. We're gonna be performing in what city?
We'll be performing in Calgary.
Yes, we'll be in Calgary, so look out for that. We gotta change our dollars.
Yeah, dude. Time to change over and go to Canada, dude.
Show the shirt, bro. Hell yeah, bro. I had a cousin who looked like that, but just darker, Raul. His feet stunk. His feet stunk.
Bro, yeah, I'm pretty sure Rambo's feet stunk during that movie.
Like Pata Central.
Oh,
bro.
God, that's so gross, dude.
Bro, I used to go visit a comedian who used to live with his sister and his 2 little nephews and his niece, and his fucking nephew slept in the living room. And bro, it smelled like foot odor. Bro.
No, dude.
He goes, hey, look at me. He goes, hey, he look at me and goes, hey, bro, my nephew, bro, they fucking have foot odor, bro. Pata Central. And then what I did, I started smiling, go, fucking Pata Central here, bro. I said, man, you guys carpet, bro, when they would carpet the floor, they would put foot powder on the carpet, bro, and then
so he could at least scoop it up with his feet.
They'll put.
It's so gross.
They'll put foot powder on
Yeah.
the carpet.
Right.
And then with a vacuum cleaner.
To just get rid of the odor.
Then with a vacuum cleaner.
Bro, wash your fucking feet. Here's the thing. Just
like, bro, they would leave like a footprint and walk away, and the footprint had foot smell.
It was like yellow.
No, it was like a sweaty stink.
That's so fucking
It's like
gross,
they walked
bro.
away, but their footprint of smell stood there.
Here's some advice.
They were walking faster than the speed of smell.
Here's some advice. I had very sweaty
I don't know where they're at right now. Okay, I wouldn't.
I have very sweaty feet, and my feet used to stink really bad. And one day I went to the doctor, and I said, I cannot get rid of this. And the doctor said,
chop your feet off.
Put antiperspirant on your feet.
I put Vicks.
And I was like, that's weird. Why would you do that? And he's like, you put it on your armpits. Why wouldn't you put it on your feet? Ever since then, never had no problems with stinky feet, stinky shoes. In fact, if I take my shoes off, they smell like Arid Extra Dry.
I wonder that hookers say your friend's feet smell like Old Spice.
There's no hooker. Hey, there's no hooker. Bro, there's no hooker. Cut that out.
Fucking Menudo, bro.
Fucking Menudo. Whoa, bro, the Menudo shit.
It all adds up, bro. Menendez, Menudo.
It's crazy
Menendez.
that there's a connection there to me. And there's a deep connection, man, because the Menudo stuff is happening on its own. Because there's also now a case, the guy who's going to be the special person interest in the Menendez case coming up, if it happens, is he's also going after Edgardo Diaz himself, and that case is building, and it's here in Los Angeles that that case was first initiated. So I'm interested, man. This is actually pretty interesting stuff to me. I did not realize how captivated I would be. Like, I didn't even have to read this shit over and over again to like memorize most of what I know.
History of Menéndez Brothers.
And we didn't even get to everything that I had. So
we'll be back.